Astrid, and welcome back to my channel. Tonight we're doing something a little different. I have been trying to improve my mixing skills, so I've been digging in and trying to exercise my ears to hear frequencies better, and that means creating lots of stuff that has a lot of sub undertones and kicks. So tonight, that's what I kind of want to focus on, is real low sub and kicks and getting them to play together. So I ran across a video that featured Leslie Braithwaite, and he's a very popular and known engineer who's done work with Cardi B, the Migos, it kind of goes on and on and on. But he was recommending specifically a UAD plugin called the Little Voice of God, and the way that he described it is that it allows you to break out some of the frequency range of the sub and the kick away from each other so that they're not clashing. So I started looking at this plugin, and I hadn't really had a chance to really do any discovery with it. It kind of was part of my original UAD plugin package when I first purchased my Apollo unit. So you know how it is. You sometimes you'll get a unit that's prepackaged and bundled with something, and half of the plugins you don't ever get a chance to look at. So that was the case with this one. But when I saw Leslie use it and talk about it, it got me looking at it, and it is very useful. So what it does is it allows you to dial in like a volume and set a specific frequency range for those really low basses. So like right now I have two drum elements in this track that I'm working on. So I have a really low sub that I'm doing with my Heated Up 3, and I'll just show you that. So it's called So Def, but it is like a seriously low sub, like trunk rattling sub. But I needed to be able to add just a little touch of volume to it, and I also needed to set it in its own frequency range, and so that's what I did with this plugin. So I have it set for about 7 for volume, and then I have it set for about 6.5 in the 60 kilohertz range, which is it's kind of low. But it works. It separates it away from the other kick. So I'm just gonna kind of show you like a sound difference. You probably will hear this better if you use earphones or headphones. So let me just start by playing the flat one first. Let's start by playing it flat with just it. Okay, so by itself it's just really flat, but then when I turn on the Little Voice of God, here we go, it adds that touch of volume that I added, and it's setting it in that 60 kilohertz range. Okay, so now the other focus is on drums. So this is a loop, and I'm finding that loops are really difficult to deal with, and I see why people don't like mixing them. I've watched quite a few videos that talk about it, and on most of the videos they spend a lot of time separating all of the sounds from each other and then bringing it ultimately back together, which is kind of strange, but it makes perfect sense, because when you have the sample by itself altogether, it has its own, all these different clashing frequency ranges. You want to be able to control all that, which makes perfect sense. So with this, I went ahead and added the little voice guide because I wanted to separate the bass frequency. And I have the volume set for, it's around about 2.25. And then the frequency is set for about 2.5 kilohertz, which is not bad. And the kick on this one it's a solid kick, but it's not super loud. But I don't want it to clash with the sub. So let me just play it flat so you can hear what it sounds like without all of the other stuff that I've added to it. Okay. All right, so that's with just flat, and I'm going to play it with the little voice guide. Okay, so also on this one, I added Sound Toys Microshift to thicken it. Microshift will allow you to kind of double up frequencies. So that's what I did. I just added it, and I made some adjustments to it. I used the one of the included patches with it, but the included patch was too detuned and it had like a lot of delay, and that's not really what I wanted. I wanted to like have it not be detuned, and I wanted to be more tight than it was. So that's what I did with this. That's without. This is with. Okay, so it adds just a little bit of more stereo width when I have it on, versus with it off. You may not be able to hear it, but that's what I set it up to do. So both together, let me see if I can do them both just together. Let's turn off all the other things so you can hear them together. Now they're playing with each other. They're not overriding each other. There is separation between the kick and the sub, which is really good. So now my next fight is cleaning up the mid frequency and the high frequency ranges for this drum sample, and I'm gonna have to continue to tackle with that. So I think I want to try the API, and I've been using this API channel strip quite a bit here lately. And the API channel strip is just a straight channel strip, but the great thing about it is it comes with an EQ. So the EQ will allow you to kind of tweak the overall sound of what you're setting it on top of. Okay, so what I'm trying to tune is the mids. The mids are always a challenge for me because they sound muddy to me. So I have to be careful, and I'm mixing using my JBLs so that I can hear them a little bit better. When I mix them with my focals, I really struggle because it has like a lot of extra bass in there with the focals. But with these JBLs, the mids are more accentuated, so I can hear them better. It's almost like the highs are just almost just too high. I want them to be bright, but not ear straining. Okay, again, so what I'm doing with the low end is I don't want the low end to be near the sub, so I'm staying away from it. Because I know that the sub is in like the 60 kilohertz range, so I'm going to keep this kick like in the 50s and the 2000s. But I don't want it to be like, you know, have no presence. So I think that'll work. The highs are tamed a lot better than they were because they were killing my ears. Okay, let me see. Maybe just a little bit more. If I can add just a little bit of presence to them without them being ear killing. Oh. Oh, it's better. Okay, let's bring that sub back. Okay, I need to switch speakers so I can hear what the rest of it sounds like, not in the mid frequency range. To bring the gain down some, since they seem like really loud to me. Okay, that's better. kill something. I almost want to limit this thing because it is like so bright. Okay, so the thing about the limiting, especially using this particular one, when the limiting is super fast, the release is fast, it adds distortion, which may be wanted or not wanted, and that's what I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to see what it sounds like first. So let me turn off the bass, make sure that I'm not tripping. Let me see. Ooh, yeah, that's ugly. Okay, so the attack, I'm going to leave it lower. It's kind of slow because the release is already high. Back. Okay, let me see what it sounds like with the rest of everything. And I need to switch back again to make sure I'm on the big speakers so that I'm not tripping here. Well, that's much better. So hopefully that's helpful. So seeing this, that, you know, sometimes you have to limit things. Was the thing about this sample is that it has like a lot of high frequency information in there with the hi-hats. And the kick is more kind of a mid to low. And it's just really not mixed very well from a sample perspective, because the hi-hats are like really overriding everything in the sample. So it would be really nice if I could have this separated. I'm going to have to do some further experimentation on how to completely separate the frequency ranges on a sample, even if it means like breaking the sample out into small pieces, maybe bumping the track to another track and only focusing on that frequency range. I'll have to keep experimenting. So I think this is why it it's always been nice for me to be able to program my own drums. Because working with loops can be a pain, but it actually is a good learning experience because it makes you a better mixer, engineering wise. That way you can, as you can see, you get to use a lot of plugins to make it sound better. Well, that's all I've got. I just wanted to share with you my adventures into mixing and trying to improve that skill set. Well, don't forget to subscribe, like it if you do, and leave comments. Again, I always look forward to talking to you guys.